Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great Sunday. We await our guests. They'll be joining very soon. So, before it comes on, our conversation today will be geared towards understanding the Ibadan real estate space. So, the topic before us is understanding the Ibadan real estate space. I think he's joining right now. Welcome to this platform where we discuss topical issues that affect real estate in Nigeria. And as you know, I remain Patrick, your Lagos Realtor, your Nigerian Realtor. Let me put it that way. Today we'll be looking at Ibadan real estate, and we'll be having a surveyor, a registered surveyor, who would come on. I think he's on right now. Okay, he's on right now. Okay. Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Great to
Okay. I was just
just
introducing
just
before
see
you came in,
your
so
link
I'll
now. Just
continue
trying
with
to
that.
add it to my list. Can you
Can you
hear
hear
me
me,
very
sir?
well? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, okay. So, like I said, I'm Patrick, your Lagos Realtor. I'll say your Nigerian Realtor right now because we'll be discussing other parts other than Lagos. The topic before us is understanding the Ibadan real estate space. And we'll be discussing this in relations to property appreciation, investment security, and also returns on investment. We want to know how secure it is to invest in Ibadan real estate. We want to know how quick um, property appreciation happens in the real estate space in Ibadan. And we also want to know what the investment returns would most likely be, considering the different options of real estate investment we would have. So all of this we'll be discussing under the topic understanding Ibadan. And we have here a registered surveyor, a member of the surveyors, this surveyor SOCON, yes, Surveyors Union of
Surveyors
Nigeria
Council
or
of Nigeria.
something. What was this, sir?
Surveyors Council of Nigeria.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, sir. So he's a registered surveyor, and he'll be doing justice to our conversation today. Welcome, sir. Welcome to this space, and we are very,
Thank
very
you.
happy
Thank
to
you.
have you in this place. So we'll go into our
I'm
conversation
glad to be
straight,
here.
and I have series of questions already outlined that would shape our conversation today. And the first thing I would want you to answer, the first question I would put to you is now, Ibadan or the Oyo let's say space to a large extent has proven to be the next destination for real estate in the southwestern part of Nigeria. Now, at this time, we are looking away from people are looking away from Lagos and looking towards Ibadan, and it is quite shocking that that will be happening. The first question is, what factors do you think is responsible for this at this time? Why are we looking to Ibadan? Why are people looking to Ibadan right now? What are those factors responsible for that?
Thank you for having me here, Mr. Patrick. I'm really glad we're having this kind of conversation here. Can you hear me very well?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm really glad we're having this kind of conversation. And a lot has come up concerning Ibadan, and Oyo State and the real estate market. And as you have said, uh, what are the key factors that are really fueling this kind of development at this hour? Because before now, there has been passive real estate involvement concerning the Ibadan market. So has it become prominent now compared to before? So their shares boundary with Ogun State, Osun State, Kwara State, and also Republic of Benin. That's Benin Republic. And these states that I talk about, they are all hotspots in terms
Okay,
of.
surveyor,
Okay, surveyor.
your voice is not too
Voice is
loud.
not too loud. Okay.
You can adjust
You
your
can adjust
microphone.
your microphone. Let me adjust it. I'm coming. So
Thank you,
can you
sir.
hear me now? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
better now. It's yes. Better now.
Yes.
Yes. It's better now. Okay. So I said Ibadan shares boundary with Osun State, Kwara State, Ogun State, and Republic of Benin. And with the strategic location of these states in proximity to Oyo State, it gives Oyo State an advantage over other states. Compared to when you are sharing boundary with the Atlantic Ocean, or when you are just sharing boundary with majorly maybe Oyo State and Lagos. Of course, if you are sharing boundary with Lagos, it will affect the market too. But currently and right now, apart from the fact that the state shares its strategic location with other states, the government initiative and the infrastructural development, that's Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, this is his second term, and he has been doing wonders in Oyo. He has embarked on a lot of strategic development that is increasing and bolstering the Ibadan appeal for real estate destination. And these projects, let me just mention a few. The projects include Ibadan urban and flood management projects. We have the agricultural business hub, that's Omi Tuntun. It's also a project in Oyo State. We have the what's it called? This train, Moniya train station is part of it. We have the dry inland port in Oyo State is part of it, and we have several other projects that the governor has done. In fact, the governor has linked all the major communities. When I say communities, I mean big communities within the state, all with a good road, very good road networks, and you can attest to it if you have visited Ibadan recently. At least from Lagos to Ibadan, you know how easy it is to move compared to before that you have to spend hours on the road. So another thing that is increasing the boom of the real estate in Ibadan and Oyo State generally is the affordability in terms of housing and property. Compared to Lagos and Abuja market and even Ogun State market, that is not exactly affordable for the middle class to buy properties. It's not like that in Ibadan. Ibadan is a very big city, largest city in West Africa, and the second largest in Africa. So there is a lot of vacuum from properties and land that people can actually go into and at a very affordable prices. So another thing that is also adding to it is the boom in population and urbanization in Ibadan. We have over 3 million population in Ibadan, and the city is fast growing, as I said, with urbanization and other things that the governor is doing there. He's a really good man and he's doing an amazing work. So also Ibadan houses, if not the largest, but a high volume of research institutes in Nigeria. You can talk about the IITA, that's International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. You can talk about the Cocoa Research Institute, also in Ibadan. They have several other institutes in Ibadan too for research and development. Then we have several, several tertiary institutions that are also in Oyo State and in Ibadan too. Then another thing is rising middle class and demand for quality life. Lagos State is really becoming congested, and there are several places people can actually move into. What is happening in Nigeria now? How high we have the inflation, and if you are not careful, what you are making will not be enough for you to even feed the family. But in some areas like Oyo State, Ibadan generally, the cost of living there is not as compared to places in Ogun State and Lagos as you have it here. So all these factors is really adding to why people are moving to that side. So there are other factors to that I will also talk about as we move on. But
Okay.
as you said, what is the major factors? I've listed it now. These are the major factors. We have the government initiative, we have the infrastructural development, we have the affordable housing, the boom in population, education and research initiatives, and the growth in the middle class, and of course, the quality of life. Like
Yeah.
get.
Thank you very much. And uh, great start to our conversation. It is good to know what is fact before investors actually see the companies and want to key in into that part of Nigeria real estate. So, thank you very much for that, sir. The second question, and that would, in terms of safety and security,
Okay, in terms of
investing
what?
in safety and security.
Safety and security. Okay.
I would ask the question. So, just so, how safe is it to invest in Ibadan? What should a real estate investor keep in mind before investing in Ibadan real estate so as not to get caught up in buying committed properties? Now, you know what we face in Lagos.
Yes.
The greatest fear investors have is buying bad land, committed land. So,
Yes.
how do we go about when it comes to Ibadan real estate? What should we know?
Okay. So when you talk about, you said safety and security. So I know that what you mean by safety and security is apart from safety of life, you also mean safety of investors' funds.
Investment, yes.
Investments, yes. So concerning the safety of the investors, I'm not talking about the investments. Now I'm talking about life and security wise, in terms of how safe is the area, is it prone to when you have thugs and all these hormonal issues. So let's talk about that one first before we move to the acquisition wise. So currently the Oyo State government, through the Western Security Network, they establish anti, what do they call them, anti land grabber law in Oyo State. So you cannot hear, though there are land grabbers in Oyo State, but they are not as prominent as you have it in Lagos. Where a land grabber can just come and just take over community land and nothing can be done. So in Oyo State, what the governor do is he didn't handle the security aspect of property acquisition and safety to the police. I'm not saying the police are not doing their work, but he intentionally gave the structure to the Western Security Network. We call them Amotekun. So the Amotekun are the one in charge of chasing out all these land grabbers and also the Fulani herdsmen. And it's something that they have been doing for quite some while, and it has been really amazing. At least in a month I go to Ibadan on the average like 3 to 4 times, and I've not actually come and I've at least encountered anywhere where there is disturbance from herdsmen or from all these other people. Though it used to be prominent before, but it has drastically reduced. Like anybody can testify to that. So now let's go back to safety in terms of acquisition. So investors, just like we have it in Lagos, they need to be very careful when buying land in Oyo State and Ibadan generally, because Oyo State has a very big land. The land is so big to the extent that before now, a lot of people, investors, have actually come along, to invest and live, to invest and live. And one funny thing is that because title documentation in Ibadan is so easy to do. Like it's not as expensive and it doesn't take as big time as it does in Lagos State. These people have done documentation and actually leave the land to fallow. They are not even using the land for anything because they are rural areas. So probably they just buy it for land banking and they just decide to leave it people that are coming to Ibadan now, they need to be careful not to invest in this kind of properties. So, and what can they do, or how can they know that the property they want to invest in doesn't fall in this kind of place? So the first thing they need to do is to confirm land ownership and status. Is always the first thing that you do when buying property. Always check at the appropriate quarters, appropriate ministries. How do you confirm? In fact, the Oyo State government, through their initiative, they have made the chatting, that's land chatting in Oyo State to be virtual. It's now online. So anybody anywhere can actually chat property online without actually going to the site or going to the office or looking for anybody to do it for you. It's also online. Then another thing that you can do is consult professionals. Consult your lawyers, consult your surveyor that I'm getting this property. Please help me to check it out and do some due diligence on it. So when I say consult professionals, I mean that somebody can give you a document. Okay, this is my land. I want to sell it. Also let people that knows about the property, I mean the surveyors, probably your legal expert too, let them go to the site, pick coordinates, and confirm that the land in question is still saying the same thing as the document that you have in your hand. It's possible for you to have a document for a particular land, and the land that you think you want to buy is not even in the same place they are showing you. So it's not enough to have documents. Also go to the site to check. Then if you are buying a land that is having a C of O, always confirm what kind of C of O is the property having. So because I've seen a lot of people saying the land has a C of O, I went there, they have a C of O. Always check. If you are buying a property for residential development and you have the C of O, check it. What is the purpose of the C of O? So we have C of O for agricultural use, we have C of O for residential use, we have C of O for commercial use, and because Oyo State is very big, what most people do is agricultural C of O because it's very vast, and you cannot do any other C of O apart from agriculture for rural areas. So if you are in urban area, you do C of O for residential use or commercial use as you want it. Then apart from that one, you check the land zoning, the zoning and development plans. Because if you are investing, you need to know this place I'm investing in, I want to keep the land for like 10 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years or 5 years. So know the developmental stage of that particular place and forecast, okay, this land that I'm buying, I just want to keep it for 10 years, after which I'm going to sell it, or after which I will start development. And also, you need a good realtor. They can forecast all these things for you easily without wasting your time or giving yourself headache. Then another thing that you need to check is agreement that the land has. Go to the community, try to verify, because one thing with Ibadan compared to Lagos is everybody know everybody. So if you say you buy a land from so community, there's no way you enter the community and you ask 2 3 people and you not see somebody that can actually take you to the end of the community that can verify
So
that
your,
oh
your
it's true.
voice your voice is low. You need to increase your.
Okay.
Thank you,
How
sir.
about now?
It's okay. It's okay now.
So another thing I'm saying is, if you want to confirm property, Ibadan real estate market or your state is very fast and everybody know everybody. What I mean is, if somebody tell you that they bought a land from a community, you can easily ask few people that will know the community head that can tell you, okay, it's true. That young man came like 10 years ago to buy a land from us. It's true. You can deal with him. And if it's otherwise, you know when to refrain from doing this kind of deal. So then what are there are other things that you can consider for safety reasons. But I've talked about conducting a land search, title search, then using what's it called? Using professionals like your surveyors and legal experts. Then going to the community to check if the land is actually free, as they say, or they are not the true owner of the land. That's they didn't buy it from the community. Then check the zoning regulations. What is the purpose of the land you are buying? If you want to use a land for agriculture, and or you want to use a land for residential use or for urban developments like a commercial use, and the CFO that it has is for agricultural use, that kind of deal is already faulting your development, and you have issues with the government when you want to get the appropriate documents for development. So, but in general, what you just need to do is do your due diligence, consult professionals like surveyors, lawyers, consult your realtor too. If you have an expert, let him tell you these are the areas you can go into. If you are thinking of keeping the land for so time, go to these areas to buy it. If you want to keep it for so time, buy it in this area, because Ibadan is very big, and if you are not careful, you might buy a land that is not suitable for what you want to use it for. So I think that's the basic things. I cannot hear you. Your voice is down.
I actually that does not keep echoing. I had to unmute my.
Okay.
So when I ask question, you can mute your. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for hitting nail on it. Relates to security and the safety. Now, just a bit of education. Most of these investors they understand the kind of titles you have in Lagos, C of debt, execution. Is it the same? Do we have the same titles in Ibadan, or are they different? I'll need you to make that clarification. What are the titles like for your state? That's land title.
We have almost the same type of titles in Oyo State and Lagos State, but the only difference that we need to really take note of is that Lagos State is virtually or totally mostly urban, and we have vast areas in Oyo State that are rural areas. So the Land Use Act gave the governor of the state through the state assembly to designate which area can be urban, which area can be rural area. And in Lagos State, virtually all the areas is rural areas. So the only reason we have few freehold in Lagos State is because before the enactment of the law, that's the Land Use Act, some communities have already taken possession of such lands and they have been using it. So in the advent of the Land Use Act, they will still keep using it as if the land has a C of O. That's what the Land Use Act states. So that's why we have some areas that are freehold. So apart from that one, majorly all the most of Lagos is urban area. So in cases of Ibadan, where you have rural area, so we have these titles. We have C of O, that's the normal one. Then we have governor's consent, as we have it. We have freehold title too. Then we have CRO. So CRO is a customary right of occupancy. So where you have a working local government areas, local government can also give us land, can also allocate land. So the allocation is what they call customary right of occupancy, though there is limits to such allocations. So I'll just briefly explain each one of them. So we all know C of O, certificate of occupancy. It have to be issued by the state government, and you can use the property for a tenancy period of 99 years typically, and it's highly secured. Then we have governor's consent. That's for properties that have a C of O. If you if the title change hand, if you buy a land that is having a C of O, the governor of the state need to consent to such transactions so that they will know who and who they will be charging the land use charge, which they are charging the previous owner. So that's for the governor's consent. Then we have freehold, as I said earlier, properties that have been in use before the enactment of the law, that's the Land Use Act, they will still keep using it as if it has a C of O. So you just do a governor's consent on such lands. Then customary right of occupancy. It is normally issued by the local government of such authority, and is common in the rural areas and for undeveloped land. Uh, while it is not as strong as C of O, this customary right of occupancy or CRO is still recognized as an initial step, towards a formal land ownership. So what I'm saying is, if you have a customary right of occupancy on a land, you are not just supposed to stop there. You are supposed to integrate it by applying for C-4 on it with the state government actually, because just having a CRO means that it's only at the local government level that they know that you are using that land. The state government might not even be aware of it. It's just like we have it now in the C-4 issue concerning the coastal road, where Lagos state government have already given the right of way for the coastal road, and the federal government come there and start another design, to follow another route, neglecting the previous right of way that the Lagos state government has already given. And people actually have C-4 or gazette in these new areas that federal government is using, but because they are not aware of who has what, so, and they are the higher power, so of course they take substance comparing to the state government. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is, if you have a customary right of occupancy, it's good to always apply for C-4 on such properties, or try to further the title with the state government, so that the state will be aware of what the local government is doing on such properties. So those are the basic titles that we have in Oyo State. We have the CFO, we have the consent, then we have the freehold, then we have the customary right of occupancy. You have to unmute it though. I can't hear you very well. I don't know if you are hearing me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, sorry.
Okay, okay. I forgot to
I
unmute it.
was on mute. So okay.
Okay.
Now, thank you for exposing the titles to us as they exist in Ibadan or your state. And the next question of our investor, how flexible, how easy is it for people to get their titles perfected, their land perfected in Ibadan? You know how it is in Lagos. It takes years. It takes years. It takes months. And also bureaucracy from one office to the other and all of
Yes.
that. How easy is it in Oyo State? Investors would like to know.
So at the first term of Governor Seyi Makinde, so he had a land reform that he did concerning. I think he's still in the reform is still active. So the reform is that you can apply for CFO, and within 6 months you will get your CFO. A lot of people have applied for it actually, and it actually works. It's very fast in Oyo State, and I said earlier, they have the bureaucracy involved in applying for CFO is not like Lagos State. So the number one thing that you need to know is the government commitment to land reform in Oyo State is very, very active. So the Oyo State government has shown consistent efforts, in trying to streamline the land registration, and they are also encouraging regularization of titles too, to reduce the bureaucracy in land administration. So of course, you can go to the ministry, apply, and within 6 months it's supposed to be out. And don't forget, it's not that costly too. Then you can also depend on the titles that I've said earlier, like your customary right of occupancy. They don't exactly change, all these laws easily in Oyo State, because the land is vast, and because they want development. So it's not, there is a lot of places that you can just go and invest in Oyo State. Government are still waiting for people to come and invest, and that's why they are even trying to generate revenue from documentation. So the policies in Oyo State is static, and is gradual, and at the same time is encouraging real estate market to grow, compared to other states that they will not even give any items or procedures on how
Yeah.
to go about title documentation. Oyo State, if you go to the Ministry of Lands and Urban and Housing, you will see everything there. How to apply, how much to pay. If you have so number of hectares, this is price value. Everything is there already. Like I said, it's not exactly costly compared to Lagos State. So despite the stability, challenges too will persist naturally, such as some few delays at the all these our non-government and our government workers. You cannot even stop that. It's always there. You have to tip some people and the rest, but it's not as bad as we have it in Lagos State. So Oyo State title policy is largely stable and well structured, but it requires due diligence from investors, as I said earlier. Titles like CFO, governor's consent, and your customary right of occupancy, they are being digitized currently at the state level, and they want to even further streamline the process of applying for your title. But I want to at least give the people assurance that title documentation in Oyo State is easy and straightforward, and is not as cumbersome as we have it in Lagos State.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, my next question is, what is your advice to property investors looking to buy lands in Ibadan? What areas are safe for investment? What areas?
Okay, so I will just mention a few. So as I said, my advice for people that want to buy properties: number one, conduct due diligence. So when I say conduct due diligence, use professionals. Use your surveyor, your lawyer, and your realtor. They are the three people that you have to have handy when doing property in Nigeria, because without these three, you might not be able to escape through. Then verify all titles. I've explained it earlier. Check for government commitment. That's when you are doing your title verification. Always check for commitment. Is it free? Is it for this purpose that I want to buy it for? Then another thing is consider future development. Know where people are going, why they are going there, and what the boss is about, as we are explaining it, as I've explained earlier. Once you have all these informations, investment is will be easy for you. Then you said that areas where you can invest. So I would say that there are several areas that you can invest in Oyo State. They are very booming. But let me just mention a few. So one of the major places that people are talking about is, I know you'll have heard it, Moniya, Moniya, Moniya.
Yeah.
So the major reason for Moniya rise to fame is, number one, they have a dry port in that area. That's dry inland port by the Oyo State government. Then they have a train station too in that area. So movement from Oyo to Ogun State to Lagos is as easy as anything. Within highest 2 hours, less than 2 hours, you're already in Lagos State. And the movement is always timed. It's not like you have to wait until the bus is full, as we have it in parks. Once it's time, the train leaves. It doesn't wait for anybody. Then we have some developmental projects around that area, like Omi Tuntun Industrial Hub, like Fashola Agricultural Farm. In fact, Governor Seyi Makinde had his birthday this year in that Fashola Farm. Fashola Farm is along that Moniya Road, just after Ishenyi. He had his birthday there in that particular farm. So I was wondering, why would he be doing that kind of big party, a whole governor of the state, and going to a farm? So with his company of my guys, we went there and we saw a lot of development in that farm. It's not more a farm; it's an estate actually now. If you have been there, I wish you can go there and check it out.
I'll
So we
try.
have Fashola. You have been there.
No, no, not yet.
Check
Not
it
yet.
out. Please check it out. So they have a lot of buildings inside it. People are working there. They have large expanse of land where they are rearing cow, where they are rearing different animals, and it's very beautiful. Just I wish you can go there. So that's the buzz about money here. Then they have the circular road that they are doing too. It traverses the whole Oyo State as a whole. So it's easy to move from any place inside Oyo State. Though Oyo State is not that congested, but they are still doing the circular road to still reduce the congestion that is not there. So we can move to areas too like Akobo. Akobo too is a highly sought after area. You know, we have
Okay.
Challenge, the commercial hub of Ibadan. Then we have Eleyele, where we have the Eleyele Dam. Then we have Alabata too. We have Apete. We have Jericho. We have Bodija. Then we have places like Oluyole Estate. You have Ologun Eru. We have there's this other place that people are recently going to. I've forgotten the name of the place. So there are several areas that you can go to in Ibadan, all developed and waiting for people to invest. That's people that are smart, that can actually uh, know where and how to go there before a lot of people will go there and use the opportunity. Then another thing that you need to know is that that's the advice I have for them is that you should all stay informed about the government policies in Oyo State, because as we have it, naturally government policy is not static. So policies change. So I normally
Yeah.
advise people, wherever you are buying property, please don't just buy it and keep and say that I bought land from a developer, he will secure it. Always try and follow through with your title documentation. Always follow through, such that when the time comes, even if government acquired your property, you can always say you meet me in court, you will meet me in court, because they will have to pay compensation. Not just compensation, or what you want is what they will pay you, because you have to value it. So we can also leverage our developers too, and realtors too. They can, you know, put us through on the happenings in Ibadan as a whole, the real estate market as a whole.
Okay. So thank you very much. The next question is a very important one. Uh, Lagos is has been very very popular from the colonial times,
Yes,
and
yes.
almost everybody want to come to Lagos because there's this belief that when you come to Lagos to thrive. Now, and people find it very easy to invest in Lagos. You have the Hausa, you have the Igbos, you have the Benin people investing in Lagos, and to a large extent, becoming something safe for people. So, for Ibadan right now, is it safe and is it advisable for non-Yorubas to invest in Ibadan?
Um, I would say yes, it is safe for non-Yorubas to invest in Ibadan. So one thing that we need to know about Ibadan is the cultural diversity that we have in Ibadan. Ibadan is a welcoming city. So as we say it in Yoruba, ìlú tó gbolè tó gbọ̀lẹ̀. So Ibadan, I don't know whether, how will I explain this now? Like Ibadan accommodates everybody generally because it's very big. So I will start from the cultural inclusivity that we have in Ibadan and the hospitality. So Ibadan is historically known for open-mindedness. You can testify to that. There was one head of state that was killed in Ibadan, and even the premier was killed that time too because of what? He's a stranger.
We
Like
in
how will you
Russia
kill
or
somebody?
something.
How will you kill somebody in my house? It's not possible. Or else you kill the two of us. So that kind of spirit is in Ibadan. So the city is home to residents from all across Africa and Nigeria. And Ibadan has a very low ethnic issues. You can testify to that. But the major factor that I want you to know is that according to the Land Use Act and the Nigerian Constitution, it provides equal rights to all Nigerians. Even the one that they said happened in Lagos State. I mean, I'm sure that they cannot really say you should not buy. They can just limit
Yeah.
the how much you can buy. That's in Lagos State. But in Oyo State, they don't have that kind of legislation from the state House of Assembly. So the Land Use Act and the Nigerian Constitution give you all the right, whether you are Yoruba or not Yoruba, to buy property in any part of Nigeria, and you can even stay there and live there. Though, as you said, the community community might be prone to what's it called, fighting and the
Violence.
rest. But Ibadan is not like that. Ibadan is not like that. So Ibadan has history of peaceful coexistence among various ethnic groups, with low level of ethnic or communal conflict. So I can tell you that for non-Yorubas, I want to invest in Ibadan. They don't really have a problem. And of course, if you have some doubt, about what I'm saying, you can always buy from reputable real estate developers that can actually secure your investment on your behalf. At least if you buy from developers, that one should not give you issue whether you are Yoruba or you are Igbo or you are Hausa. So as I said, Oyo State and Ibadan generally, they have tolerance for other people and other cultures, and they live in harmony. But as I said, when you get to a community, to try to live in harmony with them, don't create scenes, don't create problems, and everything will go well.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, I have one last question, but not just
Okay.
question. I know you are a registered surveyor, and
Okay.
in recent time, you have, should I say, metamorphosed, or you have opened into development.
Okay.
And it's a good one because it is good people who know actually know the in and out of land and development. And I know you have a project right now. But before we talk about your project, someone just dropped the question. I'll read it out in the comment
Okay.
section. He said, please tell us how land banking can be of great profit to investors in those areas you mentioned. So he wants to know how land banking be of great profit to property investors. Just quickly, just
Okay. So before now, I've been working in Ibadan, and most times when I work in Ibadan, I normally ask the people there, okay, this land, that land I will just survey, how much did we get it for? That land I will just survey, how much did they get? Did you sell it for? So as time goes on, that was like 2 years ago. As time goes on, I realized that the rate at which the money the money at which the property the villagers sell the property, the rate at which they sell it, that's, I'm talking about the amount now that they sell
yeah,
it increase highly within a very short time frame. So what I'm saying is, they sold the property 2 years ago per plot. They sold it at 40,000 naira, and last year they sold another property and they asked me to come and check it. And how much do you sell it at? They said it's now 150. I was like,
wow,
150. From 40 to 150, what happened? And before the end of that year, they started selling at 200, 300. I'm talking about a rural area, not even urban area. So it was around that time that I realized that a lot of people are coming to that area. I have somebody that bought like 200 acres and planted cashew on it. I have somebody that bought 100 acres and planted another thing. I was like, why is it that people are buying and planting? What is happening? Is it that they are just coming now? So the village head now sat me down and said that I will show you something. So he now brought out documents that he has kept in his house, and he started showing me. So see this one, they bought it in 2020. See the price. See this one, they bought it in 2001. See the price. Now see this one, they bought it last year. See the price. So that was when my eyes opened. I said, wow. So the rate at which land banking property in Ibadan increase is even higher than I anticipated. So as I said, land banking is a very good option, but it's very good if you can still add another thing to it. So
yeah.
we'll talk about it as we go on.
Well, we'll talk about definitely we'll talk about it. Um, so last week I was in Ibadan from Monday to
Okay.
Thursday because I needed to connect with the history, the
with the
tradition and
history, the
cultures
tradition
of
and culture of
the Oyo.
the Oyo.
So I visited
Okay. So I
so
visited
many tourist sites.
many tourist sites. Okay.
I I, I visited the
I visited
highest point.
the
I think they call
highest
it
point. I think they call it
Liverpool,
Liverpool,
the Bowers Tower.
the Bowers Tower.
The Bowers
Okay, it's
Tower,
Bowers
where they
Tower.
say
Okay. Bowers Tower, where they say
when you get there, you see the whole
when you
of
get there, you
Ibadan.
see the whole of Ibadan.
We visited the extended
We
lake,
visited the extended lake,
Isheyin,
suspended lake,
Ado-Awayi, suspended
Ado-Awayi,
lake.
suspended
Yes,
lake.
yes, yes, yes.
We went round,
We went
and
round,
something.
and
When we were
something.
coming back,
When we were coming back,
we went to the market,
we went to
and
the
we
market,
noticed
and we
something.
noticed something.
We saw the
We
yam
saw
market
the yam market
where they sell yam,
where they sell yam,
and they packed the
and
tuber,
they packed the tuber,
about six tubers,
about
seven
six tubers,
tubers,
7 tubers,
went for
went
6,000
for
naira.
6,000 naira.
30
30
tubers.
tubers.
What happened then was
What
that
happened then was
everybody
that
that went with
everybody
us
that went with us
started ordering for
started
yams.
ordering for yams.
The car was full.
The car was full.
And that made me
That
realize
made
something,
me realize something,
that
that
farming and
farming
agriculture
and agriculture
is also
is
prevalent
also
in
prevalent
some parts
in
of
some parts of
Ibadan or your state,
Ibadan,
Nigeria.
Oyo State,
And
Nigeria.
I know,
And I
you have
know
an
you
estate
have an estate
that
that
does this. So just
does
introduce
this. Just introduce
your estate, which is
estate, which is
Springfield
Springfield
estate, to us. Let us
estate to
know
us. Let
what
us know what
it is all about.
it's all about.
Okay, so Springfield, it was born out of a very strong desire. So as I said, I'm a surveyor, as you have said before. I'm a registered surveyor, and I've worked on several properties, both in Lagos and Ibadan, and other states too. So earlier this year, we have food inflation in Nigeria, and it's just dawned on me, that all these properties that I've worked on in Lagos State and in Ibadan, if they had not, I mean, when the developers, when what the normal norm, the normal culture is a developer bought a land for land banking, sell it out, move to the next project, while the previous one is just left there fallow, bushy, and to turn to forest with time. Then we go to another project, the same thing happen. Another project, the same thing happen. So all this land or properties that developers have been living, for a while. Now, if you go to Epe, you will see various estates now bushy, turn to forest, and investment is wasting away. Nothing is useful for the investors. The only thing that is useful for them is just to sell the land and get their money. So now don't know mean that with this food inflation that we have in Nigeria, what if all the land that has been sold by developers in just Lagos only and Ibadan only, or let's say Southwest only, they are using it for agriculture? Are we going to have, you know, that kind of food inflation in Nigeria? In fact, that one will even sort out food problem for the southwestern part of Nigeria. I can testify to that because the land is massive. So that was when I started working on Springfield. Then it also dawned on us, when I started with my team, it dawned on us that why not sell the land as land banking naturally, but let's not leave it just as the culture is with other developers. Let's, invest in it, put something in it, put money in it, and let's agricultural grow inside it, such that every year each investor that bought into Springfield, we have return on investment. That's, they will have return on the amount they invest every year, apart from the land banking option. So what I'm saying is, you buy property, we farm on it, then we give you back returns. Then we started having issue of, okay, if I buy from you, how much are you going to use in farming? How much will I know? All these questions start coming up. Okay, you said, I said, you know what? Let's do it like this. You buy the property and you go and sleep. The estate will do all other things. When I said all other things, I mean we be the one to use our money to farm on it. We be the one to use our money to follow up with the weeding, with the harvesting, with all other things that have to do with the farming. Your own is just to buy land, then we give you back returns every year for the period we'll be doing the farming season. So, and a lot of people have bought into the idea too. Like at least we have several that have been doing it before, but not consistent. But what we want to do at Springfield is not to, we are not investing in perennial crops that will take, like for example, I've seen where people are investing in, let's say palm for example. I did research. I know that it will take like 15 years
Yeah.
or 12 years before you can even get 1 naira from palm farming. So what's that the essence of? It's more or less like land banking. So the kind of crops we are invested in are the one that you can harvest within a year. So we are not doing long term. We want people to
Okay.
actually get returns easily and very fast. So that's what
Okay.
Springfield is about majorly.
Okay. So what are you selling right now? The sizes of land, the price of the
So currently we are selling 300 square meters, 500 square meters, then 1,000 square meters. Then we have boxes too. That's if you want to buy in acres, 6 plots, we have for you. If you want to buy in hectares, we have for you too. And the higher the land sizes you are buying, the lesser the price. So for 300 square meter, the price is 450,000 naira, and it's all inclusive. So what I mean
all
is,
inclusive.
once you buy, yes, it's all inclusive, 450, inclusive of documentation, survey, and you get other documents too, like your contract of sales, deed of assignment
Deed
and
of
all that.
assignment.
But it's all inclusive. 450,000 naira for 300 square meters. 500,000 naira. I mean, 500 square meters is 850. All inclusive too. Then 1,000 square meters is 1.6. Then if you want to invest in bulk sales, so our 1 acre, that's 6 plots, is going for one point it's going for 4.1 million instead of 5.2. Supposed to be 5.2, but it's going for 4.1 million. Then our hectare deal is also there. That's 15 plots. If you want to buy hectare deal, 15 plots, that one is going for 10,250,000
Okay.
as against
Yeah.
15 million that's supposed to be.
So where is Springfield?
So Springfield is in Moniya. Springfield is along that Moniya Ishenyi Road.
Okay.
It's facing that third road. It's not off the road, it's just facing that third road exactly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much of the Bolade Guru.
You are welcome.
Double
You are welcome.
R. And, I promise you're not going to do more than 1 hour today. So,
Yes, successful.
thank you for exposing or your real estate space to us. Thank you for teaching us about the title. You've also told us uh, about the security of our investment, and definitely you ended it with investing in certain kind of properties and farming and all of that, which definitely guarantee high returns on investment
Investment.
as we await property. So thank you very much, and
You are welcome.
we hope to bring you back here some other time. Uh,
Surely, anytime.
Definitely. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Uh, so,
Yes.
Kabola is the registered entrepreneur, and right now he's also a property developer. He has an estate Springfield, Monya, Ibadan. For more details on that particular property, uh, coming to my PM, I will give you the information on that. And definitely, when it's survey yourself, you just have to believe him. And we call him the Eagle. He tells us what to do, and we've never faltered. So,
No
thank
wahala.
you very much. So,
You are welcome, sir.
until we meet again, stay safe, keep investing in real estate, and be peaceful. Bye bye.
Bye.